Well, good morning, everyone, team. Let's start the session for today. Meanwhile, others can join parallelly. So, by last session, we completed all the payroll transactions as well, team. The entire payroll configurations and the transactions we completed. And we left over with one concept within the payroll team. That is, within the concept of elements, whenever we defining team, it might be an earning or it might be a deduction. We have something, a calculation type of rule called percentage of earnings is their team. I told you that this topic I will be taking separately after our payroll completion team, because when we configuring the payroll, we have seen the system like the elements how to configure through the flat amount or hours into rate team. Percentage of earnings how to do, I will tell you team. Fast formulas with respective to the customizations and all, we will take up in the technical classes team with respective to payroll and absence. That time you can understand how we can use the fast formulas within the payroll module and within the absence module that we will take up in technical class. Now, percentage of earnings type calculation, how to deal when it comes to the elements team. I will give you a simple requirement team, one of the very practical real-time requirement in many projects team, which I worked on and as well as you probably in the coming future when you are going to work. So here my client is telling team, let's say, okay, let me take up the Excel here. Krishna, hours into rate, we configured already that element. You can check out the session. Already we did that. So let me take this example, very simple, straightforward requirement team. My client is telling, Kumar, we have these two salary components, both are earning elements, basic salary and housing allowance. Basic salary, okay. We will be configuring based upon flat amount rule. Directly, whenever we tagging, basic salary we are doing through the salary basis. Or even as an element entry also you can do. Basic salary straight away we are capturing team. For my employee, every month basic salary is $1,000 for my employee. When it comes to housing allowance, Kumar, for every employee in my organization, I have a concept. What is that? 25% of the basic salary will be their housing allowance. It is fixed rate for all my employees in my organization. Or some might have 10% of basic. Some might have 15% of basic. Whatever it is. But the source of truth for calculating the housing will be the basic salary of the employee. If employee have $1,000 salary team per month, then housing allowance is what? 25% of basic means $250 will be the housing allowance. If some employee have $2,000 per month is the basic, then $500 will be housing for him, 25% on it. So every employee's salary, housing allowance, 25% of basic salary is my requirement, Kumar. How we can define? Or let's say transport allowance is there in my organization. That is, Kumar, 5% of basic or 5% of housing is transport. Anything, whenever one element is depending upon another element team, then the concept of percentage of earnings will be coming. Let's take up this as an example and we will try to implement this requirement from scratch. Why I am very particular about this is definitely you will get this requirement in your implementation. Flat amount, what is there? Simple. You are creating with flat amount. Directly when you are tagging the element to the employee, in the amount input value, you are capturing the monthly allowance of the employee. But this is something logically driven team. And mostly many projects will be asking for this requirement. How in that case to implement? So basic is okay. Through flat amount, we will be tagging. Whatever the basic is there, 25% of the basic will be the housing allowance for the employees. If this is the requirement, how you will define the system. You can define team. You can define team. This housing elements also with a flat amount rule, and in the fast formula you can maintain this logic. In our fast formula class I will tell you how to handle that through FF, but without using fast formula also. Oracle straight away given the solution in the system team in order to handle this percentage of earnings. You no need to worry about configuring through fast formulas, and many of you will be feeling tough to handle the FF. So directly Oracle given the solution to handle this type of requirements team. How means, first we have to define our earning element of basic, whatever that client having in the requirement team, that we will define. So let us do that one. Okay, because it's a fresh environment today. Yesterday we lost the environment also. Let us configure from scratch. Let me go to elements. So I'm creating first of all our basic salary to the employee team. Okay, elements, LDG, apply and go to task. Okay. Let me create our basic salary. Step 1, I'm defining the main element team, the standard earning element, that is basic salary. So let me go here and let me define STUS1LE basic salary. Okay. So this is nothing team. Straight away we will define the element. Okay. So these all things we know. I'm not explaining again all this stuff. We all already know all these things. Click on next. Okay. Here with flat amount, I'm defining team. Flat amount, I'm defining team. And these all things also we pretty much know team, the concept of proration, retro, the event groups, how they are working. These all things we elaboratively discussed, and practically also we have seen how the retrospective changes are working in the system. So now I'm configuring this with my flat amount team. The basic salary like this, because directly I will attach to my employee through salary basis or through direct element entry, whatever the way I will tag that one. This is step 1 team. The main source element first we will define in the system, basic salary. After this team, we will be configuring the housing allowance element in the system. Whenever I am defining the housing allowance, the calculation rule I will choose as percentage of earnings. Whenever you define the element with a flat amount rule, what are the input values generating team? Amount, earnings calculated like that. But when you define an element with percentage of earnings team, the input value like percentage will be defined. So in the front end, when you tag this element team, in the percentage field, you will capture what is the percentage, 25, 15, 10. But when we define the element with the calculation rule of percentage of earning, there will be some associated balances which will be defined team. That I will show you once this get what's happened. Once this element gets created, element defined or not. Just quickly the element defined, is it completely configured or not? Okay. Okay. The basic salary element configured team. Now see, I am defining another element team, standard earning. Now our housing elements we will define team. Okay. Test US1 LE housing allowance. Housing allowance. Now see team here what I'm doing. Basic salary like our earlier how we configured through flat amount, that way I defined team. Now housing allowance I'm defining. When I'm defining the housing allowance team, I'm choosing percentage of earnings here. Okay. Then proration, the same concepts that what we have, that you can give team, then retro. Okay. Now see, percentage of earnings are given. Let me click on next. Okay. And submit. Now what happens means team, when this element getting created based upon that percentage of earnings, we all know, right team, whenever we configuring the elements, I told you we have a concept called a balances. For every element in the system, except for information element, for every element, the respective balances also will be created, I told you. Correct. Similarly, whenever you creating an element with percentage of earnings, one balance associated to this element will be generated team with this name, prefixing with the element name, like test US1 LE housing allowance is my element name team, housing allowance. At the end, suffixing with eligible compensation, one balance with this format team. Any element you take, housing, transport, mobile, prefixing with the element name followed by eligible compensation, the naming convention like this team. One balance in the application will be created team. When you creating the element with percentage of earnings rule, for that element, one balance will be defined, that is test US1 LE housing allowance eligible compensation. Because team, in housing allowance element calculation, we have to pull the basic salary information of the employee, because my housing allowance is what, 25% of basic salary. It means what team? This basic salary information I have to be integrating or capturing in housing allowance element calculation. Correct. For that matter team, whenever you define an element under percentage of earnings rule, input value of percentage will be generated team. At the same time, one balance by name eligible compensation, one balance by name eligible compensation will be generated team, along with the regular balances of that element. One additional balance you will see team, we have to go to that element balance team, eligible compensation balance, and we have to map the basic salary with this balance of the housing allowance team. This is the prerequisite setup we have to do in the system. Whenever you're defining an element with percentage of earnings, one balance will be generated for that element team. We as a HR implementation consultant, we have to go to the balance of that element team, and we have to map the basic salary element with this balance team. Whenever this element being processed in the payroll run, the basic salary information will be pulled by this balance team of this housing allowance, and the logic will be executed accordingly. I will show you that once the element creation completes here. Let us see how the balance generated in the system and how we are integrating the basic salary allowance information in this housing allowance balance team. Let this gets created. It's still taking slight bit of time. Okay. Now the element got created team. Test US1 LE housing allowance. Now go to the balances team. Duplicate. For first of all, what we will do is team, for our basic salary and housing allowance, we will create the eligibility profiles also, because I want to assign it to the employees as well. Let me go to this basic salary element which we created. Okay. Let us define first eligibility profiles as well, because for every element we know, right, we have to define the eligibility profiles. Go to eligibility. Okay. Create element eligibility. Okay. And even for housing allowance also, we will be doing that now. Go back. See, it got created with what input value team? See, percentage. So how to implement this, we'll see now in next 5-10 minutes. Let me create the eligibility profile. Okay. Now go to balance definition team. Go to setup and maintenance. Go to setup and maintenance and search with the balance definition team under workforce deployment only. We have already seen this concept in our payroll discussion only. Balance definition under our USLDG. So with the same name, you search team. Test US1 LE housing allowance. Now see here, when I come to balance and when I check team, see, this is my main balance team, because as we already know, for every element in the system with the same name, the respective balance will be created, I told you. So this is main element balance, this is retro element balance. But here, if you could observe, there is one balance that is coming like test US1 LE housing allowance eligible compensation. So this is the balance team which will be created when it comes to the element with percentage of earnings. Granted, take it as granted team. Every element when you configuring with the rule of percentage of earnings, one balance with the end eligible compensation will be created team. We have to come to the balance of that element. Click on that. We will get into that balance team. This is the balance team. So keep effective date. By default, today's date, it will come. Change it to 1/1/1951. Okay. Now go to balance feed. Okay. Balance feed. And here team, we all know, right? Every balance will be feeded by its respective element. So now we have to integrate. The source of truth is what team? For calculating housing allowance, what is the source of truth? The basic of the employee team. Now we have to integrate the basic salary with the balance of housing allowance team. So here balance feed you come, then balance feed by element you have team here a section. Click on plus icon and then you can search that element in the drop down here team. Click on the drop down, search test US1 LE basic salary. This is the elementing. Either you can give the main element or the results element also. That is also fine team. Results element I suggest usually team. Why? Because the standard behavior in the Fusion application is what? In the front end, we are capturing the main element and in the input we will give. But once the payroll run completes, the results element of the main element will be processed and the output value is what? Earnings calculated in US legislation team. So you can choose that team. Basic salary earning results. Click on OK. Click on OK. And then team, within this element, which input value you want to feed in this balance. Okay, let me just adjust all this lining. Okay. See here, team, the input values all will come here with respective to this element team. So I want team earnings calculated. Why? Because whenever I run the payroll to the employee team, the results element will be outputting in the form of earnings calculated. And I will choose add. So what I am doing team, in my housing allowance element balance, basic salary results, the whatever the outputted amount for the month, the earnings resulted, that input value I am adding to this balance. This is the prerequisite setup we have to do. With this team, we are integrating the basic salary output with the housing allowance team. So make sure whenever you're creating an element with percentage of earnings, one balance will be generating accordingly by name at the end eligible compensation. We as an implementation consultants, we should go to that balance of that element and we have to map the basic salary with the balance of this housing allowance team. So I have done that one now. See the eligible compensation balance. I came to balance feed and I am mapping the basic salary with this balance team. Click on submit. Click on submit. Now this is done. Okay, now this is done. Now team, you can directly go to the employee now, tag the elements and try to run the payroll team and check it out whether that percentage is calculating or not. That's all. So go to my client group. Let me go to any employee team. Okay, let me search with one employee. Okay, there is one employee who is from US legislation. I'm picking up. I will try to assign the elements team. So basic salary, if you are mapping through salary basis, is up to you, or else direct entry also you can do. Let me do quickly as of direct entry because I have not defined salary basis and all. Let me directly go to element entry team. Now what HR will do? HR will tag all the salary details, right? So let's say with effective of May payroll already we ran to this person. Let us try to add these elements from June month team. We'll try to run June payroll and check out the results. That's why. Click on plus icon. Then I will try to add first of all the basic salary to this employee. Direct element entry I'm doing, but in real time, you can create either through direct element entry or through a salary basis, you can add team. So basic salary I'm adding first of all. So every month my employee basic salary is what, let's say $1,000 or let's say $2,000 per month. So the amount I'm directly passing, click on submit. This is basic salary. Okay, straight away I'm passing amount because that I created with amount input team. As of today, it is resulting. If you search with June 1st, you can see that also comes here. Okay, then now see, I will be adding housing allowance. When I'm adding the housing allowance team, what will be the input I have to be giving here? Test US1 LE housing allowance. So when I'm adding this element team, percentage, because this I created with percentage of earnings. So I'm giving team 25 here, percentages. That's all. No allowance, nothing. 25 percentage I have given team. Click on submit. Okay. With effective of June 1st, if I come and check over here, I can able to see that team. See, basic is 2000 and then housing allowance is percentage 25 team. Now let me try to run the payroll for this employee team and let me check it out how the results are generating. So as we all know where we have to go team in order to run the payroll for the employee, my client groups, okay, my client groups, payroll, and then let me go to quick pay. Then let me run for this employee team 4652 Danny Johnson. And let us try to run the June month payroll because with effective of June, we added the salary components team. Let me run the next month payroll now and check it out. What results are generating to this employee? Still, the page is loading team. Suddenly, I think application went down. What happened suddenly? Okay, let's try to run for June 2024. Okay, still the page is loading team. So now you can see the basic salary 2000 and then housing allowance percentage of 25, everything came. Now let me try to submit the payroll for this employee team. And now let's check out the results of the housing allowance. How much that is getting paid to the employee in the month of June. So this is the common practice team. Example with basic and housing, I'm telling you. But in real time, if your client asks, let's say, Kumar, I have one more thing called other allowance, that is 5% of basic. Or I have something called flexi allowance, that is 2% of basic. Then everything, you have to define the respective elements with that rule. Then the respective balance will be generated team. And we have to integrate that element with the balance of the element that what you are expecting team, so that the arrangement will be done in the system. So here we no need to work on any custom calculations, any custom logics, nothing. Oracle standardly deliver this feature, because even you go to US market, or if you are working in Middle East projects team, this sort of requirements will be quite common. They will take basic as a benchmark salary. Rest of all components, they will consider that calculation to be based on that, what to say, uh, basic or some other elements team. So you can able to achieve the requirement in this way. So once the payroll results generates here, we can able to check out team. What is the salary that processed to the employee as part of the housing allowance team. Still it is running. Okay, now we can see the gross earnings for the month here. Oh God. Okay, let me go to the earnings team and let me check out here. So see here, team, basic salary 2000 processed, housing allowance 500 it processed. Did I given anywhere 500 value directly when I'm mapping housing allowance? No. See why this is 25% of 2000 team. If I go to Calci, 2000 is my basic into 25 percentage. What is that? 500. That is what it processed here. So this is the way how we have to handle the percentage of earnings calculation rule. Percentage of earnings means straight away we cannot give the solution. We have to bring in the dependent element to this calculation. How that will be done? Through the balance team. One balance will be created with the respective to that element. We have to map we have to feed the balance with the main element team from which your calculation is depending upon. So the basic salary results element we have mapped to this element. So that is what my basic salary process 2000. So from that 25% Oracle processed for, I mean system processed for housing allowance team. So in real time projects also what happens means every time for every individual HR will not go and update the element entries. Now if my policy is crystal clear for all my employees housing allowance is fixed 25%. So why can't I do in this way? While I'm creating an housing allowance element, I will make sure the option like automatic entry, like for all the eligible persons, element automatic entry. And at the input value of percentage, I will default that value with 25. So for all employees in the system, whenever hiring happening, the element entry will be created, right? So it will make the HR's work ease. They no need to manually go and they no need to add the element or they no need to capture the value. I'm hard coding my input value at the element level as 25% and I'm giving automatic option enablement team. Some might get a question. Kumar, some people have 10% of their basic as housing. Some people have, in that case, I can't do. HRs have to manually do or through HDL or spreadsheet, they have to update. But in case, if they have common requirement throughout the company, then they can also handle the system in this way. While defining the element only, you can hard code the input value of percentage and allow automatic entry you have to enable so that for all employees team, the housing allowance with 25% as a housing rate will be triggered to all the employees. So when the basic is also added and when you run the payroll, the calculation will happen accordingly team. So this is about the percentage of earnings type of calculation handling in the system team. So by this, we completed our payroll module configurations and transactions team. Next topic that after the payroll, we will hold the goals and performance module for next 1 week team. Before that, I want to start with some additional concepts in the system. Some people will call these as also modules in the system. If you ask me, I will call them as concepts in the system, or you can refer as modules also team. So after this, I will be talking about now security, workflows, HDL and HSDL, these concepts for next week team, for next coming 1 week or 10 days maximum. We will be touch basing on this. So as of now, what we completed team, let me take up some fresh Excel sheet or let's use this one only. As of now, we completed core HR, okay, absence, payroll, okay, we completed, right? Now we will take up team security. Security 50% already completed in our initial sessions. Day 3, day 4, whatever the security concepts we discussed, 50% completed team. Rest of the part with respective to the roles, we have to be seeing that. So security, workflows, okay. And then the inbound integration team. For the next 1 week, I'm giving the schedule here. In that spreadsheet, SDL, okay, HDL will be having. Post that, we will be taking our performance module team, the goals and performance. So next 1 week, we will be touch basing on these three concepts team. These three concepts or three modules you can consider up to your wish. Because in some requirements team in the Naukri or in job portals, when we are searching for the jobs, some of the companies even considering these as a modules only. So they're asking like, did you work on security module? Did you work on workflows and approvals module? So you can consider that as a modules as well. So we will be talking next 1 week on these three aspects team, security, workflows, and inbound integration part. Now, I will start with the concept of security administration in the Fusion application team. To have a quick recap of these things, I request everyone to just try to recollect what we discussed in our initial training, like 1.5 months back or 2 months back when we started the program. the day 3 and day 4 classes, what we have seen. And what I told you, whenever we go for an implementation, the first and the foremost thing that every one of should be aware of will be the concept of security in the Fusion system, like how to create the user accounts in the system, how the access in the Fusion application is working. That all I told you, correct? So with a sheet of, just one second, team, just I will try to pen one more sheet. Okay. I explained the security by using this particular sheet team, correct? In our day 3 and day 4 classes. During that time, what I told you, in Fusion application, security module or the security concept will be having two categorizations team. The entire security in the Fusion application, we will be having two concepts. One is user account management and the other one is role management, I told you. And in fact, we already covered this topic. That's why I told you 50% already we have covered team. During this time, I told you roles management, we will be talking elaboratively once we complete our functional modules, because by now you people are familiar with all the functionalities in the system. In each module, what are the setups we have, what are the functionalities we have, what are the different screens with respective to different modules. Now we are familiar team. That's why in every batch, role management I will not take in the initial classes, because without having a profound understanding about the Fusion screens or the application functionalities, if I teach you role management, it doesn't serve the purpose. You won't understand team. So that's why I will be usually following this pattern. First, initially, I will cover user account management. And later on, after the modules, once we cover a couple of modules, I will take up a role management team. So with your batch also the same thing. Already in security, user account management we covered. Like as we all know by this time, how in the Fusion application, user accounts will be created. We have two ways, right? We discussed it, team. One is automatically system generating. In core HR module, practically we have seen whenever we hiring the employees, automatically for all the employees, system itself generating the user account. Even for that also I told you, at our enterprise HCM information task, we have one feature, user account creation, both person and party user. If you enable that feature at our enterprise level, at our enterprise HCM information level, then what system is doing, team? Whenever hiring happening in the system, automatically for every employee, okay, for every employee, excuse me, system itself generating the user account team. That is automatic option we have. If not, manually how to create the user accounts. If not employees, just user accounts, admin accounts or implementation team for us. If we have to create, how to define the user accounts manually by going to security console, by going to user accounts, that all we have seen team. And even when we're talking about user account management, we elaboratively discussed user account rules also, like the user category concept, like the rules like what is the username format, duplication rules, password complexity rules, password expiry rules. These all things we discussed already, Tim. Now, whenever we creating the user accounts in the system, I also told you in Fusion application, the entire security is being working on a concept called RBAC, I told you, roles based access control. So in Fusion application, whenever hiring happening team, whenever system creating the user account, whatever the roles that are adding to that user, the access to that user will be provisioned accordingly. So based upon the roles we assigning to the user, Okay, based upon the roles we assigning to the user, the access to that functionalities the user is getting. Till here, every one of us know how the roles based access control is working. And even when it comes to roles, I also told you for every module, Oracle standardly delivered certain roles. Even these roles I have listed out and I explained you team. Till here we know. Then what we're discussing, Kumar, in security now? See, when it comes to role management team, if you could remember, I told you we have different types of roles available in the system, like job roles, data roles, abstract roles, duty roles, and then some functionality restrictions and data restrictions we have to give. I told you what are they. I will tell you, team. See, when it comes to roles, whatever the Oracle delivered roles are there, we cannot use directly that roles for assigning to the employees team. We cannot use that roles directly assigning to the employees team. Why? Because I will tell you with an example team. Uh, let's come from beginning. Okay, for another batch, I am explaining these things. Okay, let's suppose team. Let's suppose team. My client is having two organizations. Let's assume Tata Automobiles Private Limited. Okay. And then my client is having something called TCS India Private Limited. Right, team. So my client is having two organizations, team, two companies, Tata Automobiles and TCS. So we are implementing the application for them. So for both the organizations, they will be using the same application team. Obviously, here I have a person by name, Mr. Kumar is their team, who is working as a HR manager team. Here I have a person by name, Mr. Rajiv is there, who is the HR manager in TCS India Private Limited. So tell me now, usually if this person Kumar working in a HR manager position team, so Kumar should have access to all the activities to perform at least in the core HR, absence, all these areas team. Let's suppose team directly I'm adding these roles to Mr. Kumar. Okay. Directly I'm adding these roles to Mr. Kumar team. So now Kumar, when he log into the system, whatever the functionalities that he could able to access through these roles, he can able to access. Correct. But what happens, team? When Kumar log into the system, Kumar should able to see only the employee's data that related to his legal entity or the company. Kumar should not able to see the data of TCS India Private Limited. For example, now with my login credentials team, if I go to my client groups, okay, if I go to my client groups, let us take our EKMK because this is very slow. If I go to my client groups and if I go to person management team, if I search here any employee team, by name John something, I'm searching team here. Now what happening here, see, I could able to see in this system, whoever the employees with the name John, I could able to see every employee data. Some are from United States, some are from India, some are from different locations team every across the system. Whoever the employees by name John, I could able to see everyone in the system team. Similarly, when Kumar login into the system and when Kumar accessing the employees data, Kumar should able to see only the employees of Tata Automobiles related to his company team. He should not able to see the data of TCS. Same goes with Rajiv. For Rajiv also, I'm adding these roles. So when Rajiv login into the system, he's a HR for TCS. So Rajiv should able to search only the employees related to his organization team, not all the employees in the system. What do you mean by this? Within the concept of roles team, we have to achieve two things. One is data restriction. Data restriction. In real-time project implementations team, these are the things that we are going to work for client. When it comes to roles, data restrictions we have to achieve team. It means every employee in the system should not have access to all the data team. Example I'm taking from the context of employees, but it's not only about employees team. It can be organizations data, employees data. I will tell that in tomorrow's session. In line, I will tell what are the data restrictions we can achieve in the fusion system team. But try to understand with the basic understanding team. Data restriction we have to achieve team. It means Kumar should able to access only his employees data. But straight away, if I add the Oracle delivered standard rules to the employee, there is no data restriction, nothing. So every employee can able to see all employees data in the system. There is no data restriction. So team, in real-time projects, we will not assign directly the Oracle delivered roles to the employees team. Whatever the roles Oracle given for every module to access, straight away that roles we will not be adding team. We will be customizing these as per the client requirement. We will create our custom roles and we will map to the employees with enabling the data restrictions team. This is one sort of thing that we have to achieve, data restriction. And the other thing is team, functionality restrictions. Functionality restrictions. What is that team? My client is telling, by default, usually team, if any employee with the human resource manager role log into the system team, he can perform many transactions team. He will have access to my client group. He will have access to new person, right? And then he can able to perform all these transactions team. Like whatever we can able to see in the list here, like hire an employee, add a contingent worker, okay? Okay, add a contingent worker, add a pending worker, these all things. But my client is telling, Kumar, in my organization, we don't have the concept of non-worker and contingent workers. We don't have the concept. So I don't want to confuse my users by giving these options in the new person. Can you please restrict these functionalities? Like when my HR person log into the system with the role human resource manager, add a contingent worker, add a non-worker. These two functionalities should be hidden from here, should be restricted. Can we able to do that? Or when a HR go to any person record, my client group, person management, okay, then I'm searching for some employee here, okay. And if I go to the person record team, in the right side taskbar, I can able to perform several transactions with respective to this employee. Correct? Here. Okay. Here my client is telling team, Kumar, I don't want to give this direct reports option here. Can you please restrict this functionality? Or I don't want to give area of responsibility task here to the HR. Can you please restrict this functionality? What not? Or Kumar, in this edit option, I don't want to give update option to the user. Can you please restrict this functionality? Yes, we can able to do that through roles. So when it comes to roles in the Fusion application team, we have to achieve these two requirements in the system. One is with that role to what data the user can able to access. With that role, what functionalities the user can able to access. We can implement data restriction and functionality restriction in the system team. Okay. Okay. In every project implementation team, when it comes to role management, we will be implementing these two requirements for the client. Data restriction. We will be sitting with the client as part of the requirement gathering we will collect. what sort of data restriction that your client expecting, how many custom roles they required to assign to their employees, and what sort of functionality restrictions they are expecting. If these two information are clear is clear with us team, then we can able to configure the roles. So within the roles team, we have to talk about types of roles team. Like we have job roles, data roles, abstract roles, duty roles, or aggregate privileges. So we have to discuss what are job roles, what are data roles, abstract roles, privileges, and whenever we configuring the roles team, we will be defining the custom roles. We will take the Oracle standard role as a reference. We will copy them and we will create our custom roles. During that time team, we will be mapping the data restrictions and functionality restriction. So in order to define the data restrictions team, we have something, the concept called a security profiles will come into the picture. Today, I don't want to take this topic team because I cannot complete this fully. Let's take this topic freshly. Just I'm giving you what is a what is this role management and in real time what we have to achieve in this concept team. So we have a concept called security profiles team. With respect to data restriction, through security profiles we will achieve. So when we are discussing about the role management, let's say from tomorrow team, I will explain you first of all, what are the different types of roles we have in the Fusion system and how we can able to customize these roles with respective to the client requirement to implement these two restrictions team. During this time only, I will also tell you one of the most important concept with respective to the role management team. User management, I won't explain again because we have discussed elaboratively on this topic team. When it comes to role management, actually by this time, you people should get a question. From the last 2 months, you are practicing the system. When it comes to roles and all, you should also get one question team. What is that? Kumar, for employees in the system, whenever HR hiring them, user accounts system generating and it is sending the email to the employee. That's what we have seen in core HR whenever we hiring the employee. What about the roles? Do we have any provision to automate the roles also? Or every time HR after hiring the employee, manually HR will go to security console, search for that user account and manually add the roles based upon the job he hired, based upon the department or the position he hired, the respective roles HR will manually add? No team. That is really not feasible for the HRs, manually keeping a track for every employee who they are hiring and adding the roles. Within the concept of roles also, we have role automation available team. 10-star marked important question. In every project implementation, definitely you will work on all this. Whatever I'm going to explain you in the next 1-2 hours team, everything that you are going to implement in the project, that important concept, the roles concept is team. Even the role automation also, mandatory. Every project you go, mandatorily that requirement client will ask you team. What is that? What is that? Whenever hiring happening, when system creating the user account, can we able to auto assign the roles to the employee? For that matter, team, Oracle came up with a concept called role mappings. We have something called role mappings. Nothing but we will also call it as auto provisioning of roles. We'll call it as auto provisioning of roles. We have one concept team. For every role in the system, according to the client requirement and eligibility conditions we will give team. So my client is telling, Kumar, this human resource manager role, I want to assign. If at all employee hiring in so-called legal entity, in so-called business unit, in so-called department, in so-called job, then this role is eligible to them. Like that, for every role team, we can write the conditions in the system, the parameters in the system, how the eligibility profile is working at the absence plan level. in roles also, at every role level, we can maintain the conditions team. So whenever hiring happening, if any employee is satisfying these conditions, when this user account created team, automatically the roles also will be triggered. Even that we will see when it comes to role management team. So from tomorrow, we'll be starting with the concept of this security administration team. First, we will complete the role management detailedly, how to create the custom roles, how to enable the data restrictions, functionality restrictions, how to configure the auto provisioning of roles in the system, like automation of roles in the system, that all. And post the security, we can take up the workflows and approvals and the data loader stream, spreadsheet data loader and HCM data loader. Okay. So starting from tomorrow, we'll start with role management team. Any questions as such in today's topic, online people?
Hi, good morning, Kumar. Am I audible? Jyoti this side.
Please.
Hi. So Kumar, not concern regarding to today's class, but I have a question. This OTL, Oracle Time and Labor module, will we cover this module,
No,
OTL?
no, Jyoti. It's not part of this program.
Oh, okay. All right.
OTL, we
Okay.
have some old videos, but I don't know
Okay.
how I mean, whether that will be helpful to you or not. If anyone required,
Okay.
you can ping the support team. They will share with you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kumar Krishna.
Yes, Krishna.
Two questions. First of all, compensation management you are not going to cover, right? In this.
Compensation will be given to you as part of the e-learning video course. Live, I cannot cover, but it will be given to you. No problem.
I mean, performance. Not performance.
Performance goals and all will be covering.
And another question regarding maybe this is not related, I'm not sure, but in our client, they are using all HR and payroll process in e-business suite, and
Okay.
just for procurement purpose, they are transferring the data, employee data from e-business suite to cloud. So they restricted all the functionality. Let us say we are talking about go to work relationship, and there is an action button is there, right? That is also
Edits.
hide.
All edits
Uh,
are restricted.
all removed. So I tried to add these roles, these generic roles, human resource manager, specialist, but still I am unable to. Is it I mean page level data or using this
Two
function?
things will be there. See, if any role with a condition added to the user, that functionality is removed, then
Okay.
if you add the roles also, it won't reflect. So always system will consider the restricted roles only as a primary thing. That is one thing. If
Okay.
not that, there is nothing. You added with full access all the roles, but still it's not editable or it's not coming up, means through sandbox, through page composer, they hide it out the functionalities. They restricted out basically.
Okay. VPC is also coming under this concept. It is different, right?
What is that?
VBCS.
VBCS, Visual Builder Cloud Service, is a PaaS component. Basically, that is to build the application pages or customize the application pages, that all.
Not this concept, this hiding or something. No.
No, that is not part of this. Yeah.
Got it.
OIC, VBCS, PCS, these three comes under one family.
Got it. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, team. We'll continue.
Kumar, sorry, Kumar.
Arun.
Kumar, yes. I have another not related to today's class, but I have a question regarding DFFs. So, in global segment, under global segment, if we have to create a list of value, do we need to edit the highlight flex field? Do we need to click on highlight flex fields and edit directly, or do we need to do it and do it through sandbox?
I didn't get you. Global segment, on which page you are asking? I mean, you're asking the question with respect to DFF, correct?
Yes. So
In DFF,
I have a requirement to create a new list of value in one of DFF. It's a global segment. So do I need to directly click on settings and click on the initials and go to highlight flex fields?
You can do in that way. First, find out for that existing field what is the value set is there. Okay, which value set used over there. Go to
Mhm.
value set task, search that value set, add the values over there. That will reflect here.
So I did that and I observed that it is a global segment. So what I have done is I click,
Global segment means directly on the page they created or what?
yeah, on the page they have created. I
In
didn't,
that
I mean,
case, the values, if they are maintaining at the field level, edit the field, then go at the bottom, we have the select values option, right? List of values. There you add
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I did that. Is it correct or do I need to create
No,
a
that is
sandbox?
nothing. Sandbox not required. Why sandbox required? You can directly create the.
Thank you, Kumar.
Yeah. Okay. Let's join back tomorrow and we'll continue. And team, please plan. Saturday also we'll be having the session to compensate for yesterday. We will join and we will try to cover the subject team. Thank you.